Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome all of you to a very short, abbreviated Ohio Exopolitics. We're going to talk about the largest, I believe it's the most damaging fire this season in California. And it's called the Camp Fire, which is kind of an unusual name. Just some statistics which are pretty amazing. The 2018 wildfire season in California has been incredible, one of the most destructive ever. I think it is the most destructive ever. 7,579 fires have burned in California this wildfire season. That's 1,667,000 acres. That's the largest amount of burned acreage recorded in a California fire season. The biggest fire that I know of right now is the Mendocino complex fire, which was actually the ranch and river fires formed collectively, and they were called the Mendocino complex fire. 157 residential buildings destroyed, 123 other buildings destroyed, 24 other buildings damaged. The Carr Fire was 229,000 acres, which destroyed over 1,000 people's homes and 22 commercial structures, 503 buildings. 3 firefighters and 5 civilians were killed in that fire. The Camp Fire is the most destructive, and that's the one I have clips for tonight. It has destroyed 113,000 acres. When I say most destructive, in terms of human residences and structures, that's the most destructive, but not in terms of acreage by any means. So anyway, the Camp Fire destroyed 6,453 residences, 260 commercial structures, has killed 29 civilians, 3 firefighters, and over 200 people are still missing because of this fire. So let's go ahead and run through some clips here. Here we go.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. 2 deadly wildfires continue to burn in California, where thousands of firefighters are working to save homes and lives. In Northern California, the death toll from the so-called Camp Fire has climbed to 23, as officials continue to search for more than 100 people who remain unaccounted for. The fire in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, north of Sacramento, has burned 109,000 acres and is 25% contained. More than 6,700 structures have been destroyed, mostly residential homes, making it the most destructive in California history. About 500 miles to the south, the Woolsey Fire continues to threaten areas around Los Angeles. About 250,000 people have been evacuated, and the fire is being blamed for at least 2 deaths there. Fire officials say the blaze is 10% contained. The Santa Ana winds picked up today, creating tougher conditions for firefighters. The winds are expected to remain through Tuesday. For more, I'm joined via Skype by Julia Sulak from the Bay Area News Group. She's in Paradise, a town of 27,000 people that's been decimated by the so-called Camp Fire. Julia, describe what you're standing in. What's left of this town?
Wow, it's so grim. I have to tell you, just driving through how much carnage, it's amazing. I'm standing in the wreckage of what appears to be a church. There's just nothing left. What is so astounding about Paradise, there still are some buildings, the businesses on the main drag of town. There are a few, but it's all the residences. 90% of the homes in this place are gone.
You chronicled some of the stories of people that were trying to get out. What's the scene that they describe?
Well, what really got me was these abandoned cars, and it's just so apocalyptic. It's like a scene from The Walking Dead or something, and you just wonder, I couldn't help but imagine what it must have been like to be sitting in one of these cars and no way out. And unfortunately, the scariest thing of all is that some people actually perished in their vehicles. but the ones who got out were just amazing. This one couple, they were in bumper to bumper. They said, we'd rather die fleeing together than in separate cars. You know, they went to the edge of a cliff and they slid down on their rear ends, and deer and turkeys were coming down with them, and they forded a creek and finally another 5 miles to safety. I mean, the stories are just epic, and stories of heroism. I spoke with a school bus driver who was stranded with a 7-year-old autistic boy for hours. Ultimately, they got out safely too, but it's just terrifying for people out here.
Is this area now safe? Are people allowed to go back in yet?
No, there are so many downed power lines. A lot of PG&E crews are here. We're driving. Of course, we're able to go in with press passes. It's just very hazardous.
What is the plan there for this town? I mean, the evacuees or everybody from that town and the surrounding towns are now in elsewhere.
I spoke with the mayor of Paradise last night, and I said, what is it like to be the mayor of a town where nothing's left? And she said, you know, hey, the Ace Hardware is still there. And we have one grocery store, 2 are gone, but 1 is there. So, of course, she's looking on the bright side. I was at a meeting last night when one of the community members said, should I go back? Should I return? And she said, it's really up to you. Julia Sulek of the Bay Area News Group joining us via Skype from Paradise, California. Thanks so much for joining us. You're welcome.
Elsewhere around the world, the wildfires in California that have killed dozens and have caused thousands to be evacuated could grow even bigger. The U.S. Fire Department is concerned that the blaze could continue for weeks. Hong Yu has the details.
Campfire, the most destructive wildfire in California's history, shows no sign of abating, with strong dry winds making the weather optimal for the Northern California fire to spread for at least another day. The wildfire, which started on November 8th, has killed more than 30 people, and with more than 200 others missing, the number of casualties is likely to increase. Most victims were found near Paradise, California. More than 300,000 people have been forced from their homes statewide.
I think it's burned. But it's because it's neighbors' houses. I see it's already started to burn.
As well as Campfire, there are 2 other wildfires that have broken out in Southern California. The Hill Fire and the Woolsey Fire have destroyed 179 structures and are threatening 57,000 more.
The only thing that we're not concerned about is where it hit the ocean. So other than that, we're extremely concerned. We've asked our citizens to evacuate. We have all available firefighters out there in all perimeters and all unburned areas of this fire trying to protect the structures and put the fire out.
The return of powerful winds is impeding firefighters from containing the fires, especially the Woolsey Fire in Southern California. These winds are known as the Devil's Wind for giving life to wildfires of a tremendous scale. Currently, about 3,000 firefighters are battling the blazes. The U.S. Fire Department said it will take more than 3 weeks to fully contain the 3 fires. Hong Yu, Arirang News.
This community now filled with grim scenes like this. Cars gutted by walls of fire. In some cases, they became tombs for residents trying to escape. But as we also learned about this town, no one is giving up on Paradise.
Tonight, at the front line of California's most destructive wildfire, an aggressive response. With improved conditions, more than 4,000 firefighters are putting everything into battling the catastrophic campfire. Paradise is in ruins. Scores are missing, whole neighborhoods burned to the ground.
What is a beautiful place.
Jim Clarkson, a cancer survivor, has lived here for 30 years.
Wow.
We were with him when he discovered his home gone.
You could see over here what it was like. It was gorgeous. Just start over, you know. Yeah, it's the tough part about living in Paradise is, you know, there's fires that come through.
Nearby at a community meeting, family members made desperate pleas for missing loved ones, some finding relief.
I was hoping maybe she was here. Barbara Allen, I know a lot of people in Paradise know her. She worked at the Paradise the community center, but if anybody's seen her, flyers are all over the place. Where?
Tonight, some crews are sweeping through residential streets, clearing piles of debris, while others scour ruins for people that may have died. DJ Longbreak came from Oregon to rescue animals.
This is complete devastation. I've seen a lot of things that I wish I didn't have to see.
The grueling recovery is starting, a sign of hope for a community that may be devastated.
Paradise will be a beautiful town again,
but will never be lost. Steve Patterson, NBC News, Paradise, California.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our...
Well, that's it. That's our update for this evening for California wildfires in 2018. 7,579 fires have burned in 2018. That's 1.6 million acres. Looks like the Camp Fire, as they so call it, is destroyed more residences, 6,453 residences destroyed by the so-called Camp Fire. And I just wanted to give a quick update this evening. You're listening to Ohio Exopolitics. I'm your host, Mark Snyder, and we'll be talking to you either later in the week or this weekend. Have a great evening.